Elizabeth with Elizabeth Road Studio. Hopefully you're watching this video because you purchased one of my Ornament Makers kits. Welcome. Make sure when you get ready to do this that you cover your area with plastic first. And you can use a trash bag that hasn't been used, of course. You can use a trash bag or a plastic tablecloth or any kind of plastic that you just have around your house. I'm going to go ahead and open this one. This box is for the baby Jesus and angels. So you get your packing list. So first thing I want you to do is check and make sure everything on the packing list is in here. So we have our 4 wood rounds. We have paint, paintbrush, our glass pieces that we need, some string, and some push pins and gloves. So I'm going to set my box aside and go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is take apart our wood slices. Now you'll notice they're all a little bit different. They should be kind of similar in size, but they're all a little different. I'm just going to kind of brush them off to make sure there's no loose pieces of bark or sawdust or anything like that on them. And they should have a hole in the top. The first thing you want to do is choose which side you're going to make your artwork on, because these are little tiny pieces of art. So we want to make sure they have a good background to start out with. So they should be pretty much the same on both sides, but you know, there are variations because they're real wood. So I've got mine all set out here. And first thing I'm going to do is open this bag that has my push pins in it. And I'm going to make little legs with the push pins. When I pour the resin on these, we're going to want our resin to drain down onto our plastic. And we don't want any of that to just pool and puddle around the edge of our wood slice. So I'm going to go ahead and make little legs for all of these. They should go in pretty easily. If you've got kids helping you, you just want to make sure that they have some help. Make sure that there's a parent in the room guiding them and helping them do this. Okay. So I've got my little push pins in, and I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to go ahead and paint all the way around the edge here on 2 of my ornaments. This is going to be my angel. So I'm not going all the way to the bark because I kind of like to keep it looking that natural look. But I'm getting close to the edge. And you should have more than enough paint. With your extra paint, if you have, like I said, if you have kids helping you, or even if you want to make these for yourself, with the extra paint you could always, because there's going to be quite a bit left, take your thumb and make a thumbprint on the back. This is acrylic paint, so it is washable. So you could rinse out your brush if you want to. I'm not going to. I don't rinse my brush very often, even when I'm painting just on a canvas. Okay, so now I've got my blue paint. And I'm going to paint the baby Jesus ornaments. While I'm painting these, I want you all to think about maybe you might have something around your house, like a special earring or a piece of jewelry, or maybe a broken wine glass or a broken dish that you've been saving because you just couldn't bear to part with it because it belonged to somebody you love or it was special to you in some way. You are welcome to use those in these ornaments. I think that would be a fun addition. Say you had a single pearl earring, or not even, doesn't have to be a real pearl obviously, or a little rhinestone earring or something like that. That would be beautiful mixed in with one of these, and then it would just add to the keepsake level of this ornament here. Okay, so there is our blue ornament. So I can go wash out this brush now because I'm finished with it. Hang on to it, you might need it for something else. Okay, with plenty of paint left. The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to move these out of the way while they're drying because we can't really do anything to them until they dry anyway. And And I'm going to open my bags. When you get this particular box, your baby Jesus pieces are going to be in one bag and your angel pieces are going to be in the other bag. Before I open my glass, put on my gloves. And this is important so that you don't get little glass shards in your hands, especially if you have kids. You're going to want to make sure they wear their gloves. Safety first. My first one I'm going to do is my angel. I've got all of my pieces here, so I'm going to open it onto my plastic in case there's any broken glass that ended up in there. Broken more than I already broke it for you. Okay, so I've got 2 angel bodies and I have 4 angel wings. Look how cute this is going to be. I'll flip that around. So I'm going to turn these so that I get them to the position that I like on my plastic before I place them on my wood. I'm just going to kind of play around with the placement of these. You could have your angel wings go down like this. You could have them stick straight out. You could have them turned up. You can really place these however you want. And these are your little faces. Now I put 2 different faces in each bag. You've got clear ones if you'd rather use the clear or the flesh color, kind of the peachy color. And then these are our little halos. Let's see. I think what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to put down my wings. That's dry enough for me to work on now. Put down my wings. Place my gown, my little angel gown. I kind of want my wings turned up. I think that makes her look a little more joyful. If they're down, I think she's asleep. I don't know why. And then I think on this one, I'm going to do a clear face. Make sure I have enough room for that halo up there. Oh, I think I like that one. All right, and I'm going to do my next one. If you feel like these are slippery at all, you could always use a dab of glue to hold everything in place. You can use regular school glue. You just want to make sure that it's dry completely before you pour your resin. Or you could use a clear Elmer's glue. You'd still want to make sure that it's dry. I just use this or the clear kind sometimes. But I'm not going to use that right now because they just kind of stay on here. And these are, I'm going to do a peach colored face for this little guy. And there's my halo. So those 2 are finished. Now I'm going to move on to my baby Jesus. So I'm going to set these aside because I could use those for something else. First I'm going to open up my glass. Dump it all out and see what I've got, because you want to make sure that you distribute your pieces kind of evenly between your 2 ornaments. I have included some extra glass in there, but you still want to make sure you have everything you need, because you've got to have all of these finished before you can mix your resin. So here are my baby Jesus. Look, the manger. So I'm going to find 2 sticks that are kind of similar. There are 4 different ones in here. So I don't want to put these 2 together because I don't feel like that is going to look as good as these 2 together. So that's what I'm going to choose. And make sure I've got my hole at the top. Always check and make sure your hole's at the top. You want to make sure before you place your glass down, because that would be frustrating. I've got some, this paint isn't completely dry, but you're going to wait till it's dry before you do this. And then I've got this little baby Jesus body. It could go a lot of different ways. This one has some texture on it. I want that texture facing up, so I'm going to kind of cradle him down in there. See what I did there? Cradle. Cradle him down in there. Cradle him down in there. I'm going to give him this little flesh peach colored head. Let's see. And then he's going to have some light coming out. So these little pieces here, the metallic mirrored pieces, I just love. I'm going to switch those 2 pieces. You could even give baby Jesus a little halo if you want to. I think there's plenty of pieces in there to do that, so I may place that little halo on top of his head. There we go. Move these angels out of the way. So here is my first baby Jesus. And then I make a second baby Jesus here. If you have trouble balancing this wood piece on top of there, I'm going to show you how easy it is just to add a dab of glue to that. You can just, well, there we go. Just, I mean, it doesn't take much at all, just enough to make it a little bit sticky. There we go. And I think I like this one going this way. These sweet little bundles of joy, look at that. Okay. And then, there we go. I think if I were somebody's grandmother or teacher or friend, I would love to receive handmade ornaments for Christmas. I have a tree full of handmade ornaments. I love them. Okay, and then I'm going to give this little baby Jesus a halo too, right there. Look at that. No two are going to be alike. All right, I'm going to move my glass out of the way. And I have, with this kit, you will get a bag of sparkly sprinkles too. So I'm going to add those to my angels because I think I really like the way these look on the angel ornaments. You could add them to anything you want to. Again, dumping them out. Sometimes they'll be stuck together like that, and so you can just break them apart with your fingers. This is tempered glass, so it really doesn't cut you. It just, but it does break into little tiny pieces, which is kind of nice. All right, got those broken up, and add some sparkles on my angel here. Sparkles make it just even better. You don't have to put these in any kind of pattern, and if you don't want to put these on here at all, you don't have to. But this is where, like where I said, like a special piece of jewelry or a little piece of glass from something special that you want to hold on to. This is where you would add that. Okay. There we go. So there's all four of the ornaments. I'm going to move all of this little glass away. These are just all little pieces that we don't need. You could put them in one of these bags and save them for another project, or you can throw them away, whatever you want to do. So the next thing I'm going to do is mix my resin. I want to make sure that my glue is dry, and I want to make sure that the paint is dry. You don't want to have anything wet when you pour resin on top. And you want to make sure all four of your ornaments are done. Once the resin is mixed, you'll only have about 15 to 30 minutes to use it. So you want to make sure that you have everything ready to go before you pour it. So your resin will come in a sealed package like this, and you'll just open it up, and these are the instructions. Make sure you read all the safety information. Make sure you have good ventilation. There's no VOCs, but you still want to be careful. And this is your resin. So it's a two-part resin epoxy made by art resin. It's made specifically for the art industry, and it won't yellow. I've got these ready to go. I'm going to move them a little bit over here so I can reach them a little better. Everything's dry. Make sure that's where it needs to be. And I'm going to slide this clip out. This is a little bit tricky, and I think because I have gloves on, it makes it a little more difficult. Remove that rod. So now these two parts are going to be mixed together. You're going to massage them for 3 minutes. Massaging it for 3 minutes ensures that it is thoroughly mixed. This is a good job for the kids to do, but you want to help them too, because you want to make sure that it is really mixed together. Okay, so it's been 3 minutes, and I have not stopped squeezing on this little bag here. You want to make sure it is mixed thoroughly. I can't emphasize that enough. Make sure you have on gloves. Make sure your workspace is covered in plastic. I'm going to take a pair of scissors, squeeze all all the resin from that one corner, and I'm going to nip a corner really small. You don't want it to be very big. I would say that's probably 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. You want a small little corner because you're going to drizzle this resin on here. And you want to make sure that when you're doing this, look, see, you're just going to go back and forth. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you're leaving this in a place that it can stay overnight. You're not going to be able to touch these for at least 12 hours. So you want to make sure these are out of little children's hands, out of dogs, out of cats. You could put a box top, like a big box top, over the top of it to keep the dust out of it. I usually don't have to worry about that too much, but I don't have cats either, and my dog doesn't shed. So, all right. So we're going to keep going through all of this until it's all covered. You want to be a little bit stingy with your resin because you do not want to run out. I don't think you will, but these ornaments are pretty good size. You just don't want to have a lot of waste of resin. That's the liquid gold right there. All right, now some of these little gaps are going to fill in. You just want to make sure you have all your glass covered. You don't have to necessarily have all the wood covered, but you definitely want to make sure you have all your glass covered. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get all the resin out of there. And if you've put some kind of little bauble, like an earring or something special in here, you'll just cover it with the resin as well. So in about 12 hours, when your ornaments are dry, you're going to pull the push pins out of the back of it. You can use a push pin to make that hole open again because it's probably closed up from the resin. If you can't get it with the push pin, you can use a hammer and a nail and hammer into the existing hole, and it should open back up again. Then you're going to take your string and untie these. And so they're cut into the right length for an ornament. You could make them shorter if you wanted to, but you're going to push it through the hole, bring it back through, and tie it in a knot. And then they're ready to go. These are 2 of the finished ornaments. Every kit's going to be a little bit different with colors, so there'll be a lot of variation. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.